right, one of the properties hoping to make a resurgence in the modern world of comic book blockbuster films is Spawn. And according to writer Todd McFarlane, fans may finally get the movie version they've always wanted. McFarlane offered an update while at Toy Fair 2016, saying that he's finished the script and the movie would be rated R. I'd put it more into the horror, suspense, supernatural genre. If you take the movie The Departed meets Paranormal Activity, something like that. In the background, there's this thing moving around, this boogeyman. That boogeyman just happens to be something that you and I intellectually know as Spawn. Will he look like he did in the first movie? No. Will he have a supervillain he fights? No. He's going to be the Specter, the ghost. Josh, are you excited for Spawn's chance at cinematic redemption?
Okay, first of all, that is the most confusing description of a movie ever. The Departed meets Paranormal Activity? What? Okay, I love Spawn. Spawn was one of the first comic books I ever bought. I ever started collecting. Me and my brother loved Spawn. The John Leguizamo movie was quite a disappointment. But the description of this movie is, I don't understand like what we're getting at here. Like the ghost in the background, just right. Like Spawn, if you read like the first 30 or 40 issues of Spawn is like what the John Leguizamo movie is. They just didn't pull it off that well. If they were to come in with like modern day kind of look at it, a little bit darker, R-rated kind of stuff, I think they could do that. I don't think they have to go Ghost Specter route, which is a lot of like the later issues.
And Todd McFarlane has been such a great ambassador for his beloved baby Spawn over the years. And I think sometimes if you created a property and you so adore it and it came out to the public in movie form and it just did not do well at all, wasn't received well, people had a huge backlash against it, and you've taken so much time and you've tried to get it back off the ground in various formats, which have worked in the past. Comics, the animated, whatever you see of Spawn, usually it's pretty awesome, but sometimes you can get so inundated with what you're writing, get into your own head as far as trying to change the perception from the previous movie, it can get a little muddled. So I love that Todd McFarlane has a completed script. I'm very interested to see how his studio is going to react to that. Whether it's rated R or PG-13, I think for most fans is secondary to what the actual story is. I don't think you can get too caught up in trying to be so different from the movie that came out in the 90s that was horrible. You can still take elements of that and make a really good film and be loyal to the lore that is Spawn. Dennis, how do you see this?
Well, I'm a huge Todd McFarlane fan. I collected Spawn as well, first 30, 40 issues, and definitely what he's describing is not the Spawn that I know. Maybe now it's issue 200 and whatever, 56, that's what he is. But back then, he was, more kind of like an anti-hero. You know, the way he also in this comment, he says he's not going to look the same. I'm like, part of Spawn's appeal is the look.
Yeah,
he looks badass.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He sold multi-million dollars worth of toys because of that look.
And he had a big bad. There is a big bad in those comics.
The devil.
Yeah. And so wait, you're going to have a superhero movie without a big bad. You're just going to have a ghost hanging around in the background, and it's meeting the departed. What is it, Leonardo DiCaprio with a Boston accent being like, oogity boogity, brah, have it yad. I don't know. Like, I'm so confused by this. I don't understand it. I love Spawn. I want to see a good Spawn movie. I think we all do. This whole thing is just confusing.
Yeah, the animated series on HBO was pretty good and very faithful to the comic book. Yeah. And like we were talking about, even though the movie wasn't that great, it was kind of more faithful, and it tried to accomplish what the comic book was about, but it had problems because the budget was very low for that movie, and you could see it on the screen. But now with today, if you put a decent budget in there and with the visual effects of today, imagine how cool his cape is going to look today.
Yeah. I think that if you're an exec and you look at something like the Spawn property and you want to have Deadpool as your template, you can do that in an R-rated fashion, but you also have to look at what Deadpool was. That was a very unique and singular telling of an origin story. In a world where we're so inundated with so many different origin stories and we're tired of seeing how a superhero developed, now we just want to see them team up with other superheroes and fight crime. It's cool to see somebody become a superhero if you do it in a unique way. And there's no more unique way to become a superhero or an anti-hero in Spawn's case than what happened to this Marine who ended up going to hell, paying for his sins, coming back in this entirely different world than he thought he was getting into. So it seems like something that would be a no-brainer if you did it right. But do you guys think that maybe Todd McFarlane needs some help? Where the fear is you don't want to become a George Lucas where he has so total control over his empire that maybe you suffer on the creativity front.
It's definitely possible because he originally, he sold his rights to New Line Cinema for $1 so that he could have more creative control over the movie, and that, I mean, obviously he got merchandising rights as well. So yeah, it's definitely possible. And you know, McFarlane, he's still around the game, but remember, he's been collecting baseballs and making figures and stuff like that. He hasn't exactly been 100% focused on comic books.
Hey Robbie, why Spawn got a Red Sox jersey on? Well,
I think if you've seen a Paranormal Activity movie, you know Toby the Demon was working with Nicholson in some capacity.
Come on.
That's all I'm going to say.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at Collider.